Hi everyone, someone recently asked me if you could run a business without a CRM or client management system, and I just want to give you the short answer, which is no, and then kind of dive in and show you what that would look like, what your options would be, and how I would compare it to running a business with a CRM. So let's dive in. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I educate on a lot of CRMs, Dubsado, Honeybook. There's a new one called Valproof for stationers, 17 Hats, Bonsai, Rock, Paper, Coin. Those are the main ones I've educated on. So I'm a big CRM fan, and I think that a CRM can be a really good investment for your business. A lot of people are scared to invest in their business in this way because it's somewhere between like $40 and $60 a month. And when you're new, that can feel like a lot. So let me just dive in and show you what it looks like to run a business without a CRM, and then what it looks like to run a business with a CRM, so I can show you the difference. Because of course the answer is you can do all these things for a little bit cheaper, but my question would be, is it actually worth it to do that? So every CRM is going to be a little bit different, but the main steps that you're definitely going to have are like lead contacting you. You're also going to have to book them in some way. You're going to have to get a contract in some way. And then as a wedding stationer like I am, there's probably going to be some back and forth like questionnaires, gathering information, etc. So let's just look at those steps and see what it would look like without a CRM. One of the first things that you need is just a way for clients to contact you. So a lot of people use a CRM for their contact forms. My website, designbylaney.com/contact, has this form embedded on it from Dubsado. And this is going to, whenever someone fills it out, it tells me, sends me an email that someone's filled it out in Dubsado, and also puts their information in Dubsado, gets all these questions answered for me. They can do things like uploading files, etc. If you didn't want to do this, then you can absolutely embed something on your website. I actually do have a form directly embedded on my website, which is this one. This is where you click here for not wedding inquiries, but click here for business questions, because that's another side of my business. And people can send me a message in this type of form as well. There's a lot more customization you can do. So I would just use whatever your website provider is, whether it's Squarespace, Might as well Show It, etc. And this is usually a free option that you can get with the website hosts that you're already paying for. So you're paying for it a little bit, but you might as well use something that you're already paying for. And those are still going to come to your inbox. The biggest difference between this and a CRM is that there's no one really keeping track of that information. So then if you want to keep track of your clients, you'll have to enter that into a spreadsheet or something else. The next step might be booking with them. And here's an example of one of my invoices back in 2016 before I had a CRM. So you can absolutely do this for free in Google Sheets. Now, what you'll see here is that it doesn't necessarily look very nice. And a couple of things that I would absolutely do differently these days. For example, I have a payment recorded on this, but then I still have a total. So this was back in 2016. Like, I don't actually know if she ended up paying the additional balance at any point. I recently found one of these invoices and I had forgotten to redo the total when I added something to the invoice, and I had cost myself like $250, 10 years ago. So we're laughing about it now. It's okay. But that's not a mistake that I would make in a CRM. So if you're using something like Google Sheets, if you're doing this manually, then it can be free, but it might cost you, $250 versus $40 a month. That's like 6 months right there that I cost myself just doing this manually. Another thing is that I did record this payment, but I didn't include what it was. Back at this point, I didn't have a payment processing platform. So I was sending these invoices, and then they could maybe pay me via PayPal. They could maybe pay me via check. They could pay me via cash in person. There were a lot of different ways. I was even, accepting Venmo because it had just come into existence back then. So there were a lot of different ways that people could pay me, and I don't know which way Anna paid me. She could have paid me in a lot of different ways. So if I ever needed to track down this payment, I definitely don't have the information that I need to do that. I don't have any information about whether, if it was a check, did I end up cashing it? What account did I cash it to? What check number was it? Like all of those things. So there's a lot of issues that can arise if you're doing things manually like this. And I recognize that you're probably thinking like, of course she wants to sell you on a CRM. But I'm just saying, if you look at the errors that can arise here, for instance, if I had never actually collected this $168, there's no way for me to actually know that 10 years down the line. If I've collected that, I may have cost myself this full $168 by not following up with her. She may never have paid. Maybe she did. I'll never actually fully know. And if I were to lose track of the payment, for instance, she gave me this check for $112, but I have no record of what happened to it. I can't go back to her and say, hey, I lost your check. I don't know what happened to it. Can you write me another one. But I also am not sure, like, if I never end up actually getting that cash, I may have cost myself, yet again, 2 or 3 months of just paying for a CRM by just losing a check and not recording it. So I truly think you can do a lot of this. In Dubsado, I have a lot of questionnaires. So after I booked them, I'm sending them questionnaires about their design, sending them questionnaires about their invitations, about their day of goodies, all the types of things that I need information on. So we have things like their names, we have what kind of wording they want, when their RSVPs are due, just all like their address, all of these different things. And this is something that you can do for free in Google Forms. So you can absolutely go in here and type in these exact same questions. I'll put this welcome box in here. And then I could go ahead and change this question to spouse A, full name, just like I have it on the other one, require it, just like I have it. So I could go in and make this exact same questionnaire over in Google Forms. This is going to be totally free no matter how many people fill it out. It's a great option. It's going to get the same information into the same places. The main thing I would say that's different between a Google form and a form in a CRM, every CRM gives you slightly different capabilities. But for instance, in Dubsado, I'm able to add these images like my logo, some example images. I can change the fonts. I can do some more customization. So if you want it to look a little bit more on brand, a little bit more pleasing, then this is a great option for you. There's even further customization that you can do that we have some other videos on, where you can add really customized things like testimonial sliders, scrolling images that have movement, etc. So these are things that you can't necessarily do in Google Forms, but you can get all the information that you need here in Google Forms. So I do think this one is a reasonably good alternative, one of the best out there, and it's not going to actually necessarily cost you money to use a Google form versus a CRM form. Whereas there's lots of stuff you can do on the invoice that's going to end up costing you money, I think the forms are fairly good. Next, I want to talk about contracts, and I couldn't even find any of my old contracts, probably because I wasn't sending contracts back then. But if I was sending them via PDF. And then the client would have to download it, figure out how to sign a PDF or print it out sometimes, and then rescan it to me, send it back, and then I would have to kind of countersign it in the same way and send it back to them. And these were all just through my email. Maybe I remember to upload it to a Google Drive folder or something else, but it was really easy to lose. Case in point that I can't even find any of them through searching now 10 years later. So contracts are something that's so important to your business, and I really didn't even start using them until I was using a CRM because it bogged down the process so much, and it just wasn't something that I thought, I didn't think it was that important, and now I know how exactly important contracts are to your business. So just an example of something that you can do in Dubsado. Here we have our proposal. So you can see we have our logo, we have some commonly asked questions, some examples of suites, and then here is where this will actually pull in any invoice that you've created. So this particular invoice for this job that I'm showing you is just for a video that I'm doing, but if you have a full invitation invoice on here, it will pull that right in here. And then the client has the ability to kind of check some policies and go to the next page. And the next page is going to be the full contract where they can initial, they can sign. I'm going to get an IP address of when and where they signed it. So if I ever do need to bring this to court, I can show exactly who signed it, when, where they were. It's legally binding. And then my counter signature is going to be the same way. So there's a lot you can do with this contract that you obviously can't do with a PDF. There's also a few things up here like the name of the client, and this just pulls in automatically from the job, so I don't need to go in and update each contract for each client. So that saves me time. And then in the third space, we just have our invoice here, and it's the same invoice that we saw on the proposal. They can print it out. They can also pay it here. I can't pay it because I'm logged in as the business owner, but if I have a payment plan on here, they'll see that there and they can go ahead and pay. So we actually have proposal, contract, and invoice all on the same form here, and we don't even need to think about doing those. So what happens is I just get I send this out, I get an email saying so-and-so has approved your proposal, so-and-so has signed your contract, and so-and-so has paid your invoice. And they pay their 50% retainer, and I am done. I don't have to do any work to do any of those things. And then probably the most important thing for me is just that I don't have to keep track of any of this. So all of this in the past was occurring in my inbox. It was occurring on Google Drive. It was occurring on Google Forms, and everything was in different places. My PDF contracts were here. My forms were here. My payments were God knows where because I didn't really record where they were coming from or when I got them or when I cashed them, etc. So I didn't really have a way to find the information that I needed when I needed it. So of course, I know this is going to seem like a backhanded answer, but if you ask me if you can run your business without a CRM, I absolutely think you can, and I did for a long time. But the amount of mistakes that I made, the amount of money that I cost myself, and the amount of time that I spent that I don't have to spend now that I have a CRM more than pays for the CRM every single time. So for instance, if your hourly rate is $50 an hour and you end up saving yourself 1 hour every month, you've paid for this CRM. Not to mention if you accidentally printed the wrong quantity, the wrong paper color, got the wrong envelope color or something because your client maybe emailed you that change as opposed to putting it in a form and you didn't see it, or you didn't get a contract properly countersigned and you ended up going to court over it and lost thousands and thousands of dollars. This is something like I had a client's bank accidentally deny one of their payments a couple weeks later. And even though I had a contract in place, it was really hard for me to get that money back. And that was over $2,500. And I had the client's buy-in, they were helping me, and it was an honest mistake and I had a contract. So just imagine trying to do that if the client was against you and was actually trying to get your money back and you didn't have a properly signed contract. So yes, there are absolutely ways that you can do a lot of these things for free, but my recommendation would be not that you necessarily need the exact CRM setup that I have, but that you should definitely check out our videos and our CRM comparison chart that I'll link in the description of this video and see which one is right for you, because I do think that you'll find one that's good for you. If you want to start small, Rock Paper Coin gives you a free year of any of their plans with my link, and they don't have a lot of the forms and stuff, but they have contracts, they have payment processing, and then you can manage all the client information in there and share files with them as well. So it's a good kind of bridge between maybe some of the systems you're currently using and a more robust CRM. And it's really simple to set up. You can get up and running within 24 hours. And then if you want to start with something a little bit more complex, if you're a stationery designer, I highly recommend Dubsado is typically my winning one for that. I have 30% off for the year. And then Valproof is one to keep an eye on. We will have some more videos on that coming up, but it's brand new, so we're just checking it. So I hope this didn't seem too snarky that I'm saying, yes, you can totally run your business without a CRM, but I wouldn't advise it. And I hope this gave you some examples of why, but also if you are convinced that you need to start without a CRM, I hope I showed you some ways that you can do that and gave you some things to think about to avoid some of the costly mistakes that I made in my time before I had a CRM. Let me know what you think and what questions you have on different CRMs. We have a whole playlist if you want to check it out.